Per the State of California Executive Order N2920, this meeting is being held telephonically. All public comments were received either by email or via voicemail, as noted within the agenda. Council, please mute your microphones until called upon for comment or vote. Mayor, I'm now passing the mic over to you.
Thank you, Ashley. I'll now call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Thank you. Mayor Smith?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Here.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Here.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Here.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Here.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Here.
City Treasurer Curry?
Here.
City Clerk Marsh?
Here.
All elected officials are present telephonically.
Thank you. I would like now to ask Pastor Mike Safford of Tehachapi Mountain Vineyard Church to present the invocation.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's pray, friends. Heavenly Father, we gather before you tonight, and as the representative for one of the many incredible faith communities here in the city, I just ask for your grace for this incredible team of people, for these city servants, these people that spend themselves on the work of the city and the culture here in Tehachapi and the greater area. We're so very grateful, Lord, that you've put it in their hearts to serve the greater good. And I ask that tonight you would give them profound insight, wisdom, a real otherly focus, Lord, a knowledge beyond themselves in ways that will be right and good and beautiful for the greater Tehachapi area. We do recognize again tonight that we steward what does not belong to us, and we want to care for it well, Lord. So give grace to our city council, all the civil servants, Lord, that serve, Lord, the first responders, Chief Kent and his team, fire, medical, everyone who's navigating the issues of our day. We ask for your grace tonight, Lord. Give them wisdom. Give them your heart for your city, and bless this time. We pray these things, Father, in your name, in recognition of your kindness to us all. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. And if you'd also keep our city manager, Greg Garrett, his father and his family in your prayers as you go forward. I appreciate it. Now, if you could join me in the pledge to the flag. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'll go on to the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comments or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in a listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before action is taken. Were there any public comments regarding consent agenda items that should be removed?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. Are there any consent agenda items the council would like removed?
Councilmember Pogencourt?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Wiggins?
No, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
No, thank you.
Mayor Smith?
No, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So move.
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Pogencord?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
It was a 5-0 vote for approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Is there any audience, oral, and written communications for the State of California Executive Order N-29-20? Do we have any public comments?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. Item number 3, public hearing for a taxi cab application submitted by Star Taxi. I will now open the hearing. Was the public hearing noticed, and was there any correspondence received?
The public hearing was posted and published in the Tehachapi News on January 27th, and there was no correspondence received.
All right. Our administrative manager, Ashley Whitmore, will now give the report. Ashley?
Thank you, Mayor. Shahzad Ali, owner of Star Taxi, submitted a completed taxi application and all required documentation and filing fees for said permit on January 6th, 2021. During the January 19th council meeting, council directed staff to notify the applicant by mail of the hearing date and post the notice in 2 locations for the city council meeting to be held on February 6th, 2021. The Tehachapi Municipal Code states that at the hearing, the city council may examine the applicant, hear members of the public who wish to present their views, and shall determine whether or not, in the public interest, convenience, and necessity, require the issuance of the permit applied for. And if such determination is made, it shall order the city clerk to issue a permit. There are only a few grounds for denial of the application. These are the grounds here. The application does not contain the information required. The vehicle described in the application is inadequate or unsafe for the purpose of which they are to be used. The color scheme, name, monogram, or insignia to be used upon the taxi cabs is in conflict with or imitates that of another permit holder as to be misleading. That the location of the cab stand as designated in the application will congest or interfere with travel on public street. That the applicant has had a prior permit revoked. If the City Council determines that there are a sufficient number of taxi cabs and automobiles for hire in the city to adequately serve the public, and that the applicant's proposed rate set schedule is so excessively low that, in the Council's judgment, it would result either in an unprofitable operation or would be unfair to the permittees. So before we can issue a permit, the applicant must also provide the following to the city: a certificate of insurance showing the existence of a $300,000 or more insurance agreement, and they must notify the city within 30 days in advance of any cancellation of that policy. A California driver's license, Class C, a police permit application, and each driver must also obtain a permit. You have 3 options tonight. You can direct the city clerk to issue a taxi cab permit after city conditions have been met. You can request additional information from the owner, or you can decide not to issue the taxi cab permit. Our recommendation is that you direct the city clerk to issue a taxi cab permit after the applicant has met all city conditions. Once we get to the comment period, Mr. Shahzad Ali is actually on the line to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Ashley. Were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
All right. If the applicant doesn't have any comments, I will now close the public hearing. And the clerk will now ask council for comments via roll call.
And council, as we go through the comments via roll call, feel free to ask questions as we do have the applicant on the line. Councilmember Pogencord?
None, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
None, thank you.
Councilmember Wiggins?
I don't like all these things that aren't taken care of so far.
Does he have a timeline of when he has to address these issues?
No, this is part of the process, Councilmember Wiggins. So the first portion is him submitting this application for the taxi permit, along with, within your council packet, there are photos of the taxi cab, his fee schedule, and so forth. What happens next is you have to decide that there's a necessity for it. And then once you have decided that, then we get the police permit application taken care of. They have to give their insurance, show their driver's license, and then we will actually issue the permit to them. So this is just where we are in the process.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes, I just had one question for the applicant. You're going to be based out of Cal City, is that correct?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Is that where your main business is, in Cal City?
No, we start for. No, so we're gonna. Our main business is gonna be in Tehachapi. Just that we currently live in Cal City right now, and until we can find a place in Cal City to make our own business, that's where we're gonna be based off of.
Okay, sir. All right, that's all I had. Thank you.
No problem.
Mayor Smith?
No questions or comments from me. Thank you. So I'll now take a motion to direct the city clerk to issue a taxi cab permit to Star Taxi after the applicant has met all city conditions. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion as presented. Mayor Smith?
I will
Thank you.
I will second, if and when all city conditions are met. Thank you.
All right. We have a motion by Councilmember Scrivener, second by Councilmember Pogencourt. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
It was a 5-0 vote to direct the city clerk to issue a taxi cab permit to Star Taxi after the applicant has met all city conditions.
Thank you. Item number 5, disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum.
Mayor Smith, fellow council members, I need to recuse myself because I'm an employee of RSI Petroleum.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Davies. Let the record show Mayor Pro Tem Davies has recused himself. Were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Were there any council comments by roll call?
Councilmember Pogencourt?
None, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Wiggins?
No, thank you.
Mayor Smith?
None, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum?
I'll make that motion as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Scrivener, second by Councilmember Wiggins. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt? Councilmember Pogencourt? All right, we'll get back to that. Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes. You want to wait a moment in case Councilmember Pogencourt has lost her connection?
We're going to check real quick and see if she is still on the line here. Give us one moment.
All righty.
It looks like we have lost Councilmember Pogencourt as of right now. So she has left the meeting as of now. So at 6:16, Councilmember Pogencourt has left the meeting.
Let's give her a couple of minutes to dial back in.
Not
we
a
all
problem.
do that. So We all do that. Our fingers trying to keep the phone alive, and it hits the disconnect.
Oh, it looks like we
Yeah.
may have her back on.
Okay, go
Councilmember
ahead.
Fogencourt, are you back on the line?
I'm back here.
Councilmember Fogencourt, we're taking a roll call vote right now on the disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum.
Yes.
All right. It was a 4-0 vote for approval of the disbursements and bills for RSI Petroleum with a recusal from Councilmember Davies.
Thank you. We'll invite Councilmember Davies back to the council meeting now.
I'm here.
All right, thank you. Item number 8, 2020 fiscal year-end financial reports. Our Finance Director, Hannah Chung, will now give the report. Hannah?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Smith and council members. Hannah Chung, Finance Director. The agenda before you today is the presentation of fiscal year-end 2020 financial reports. Before I begin, I would like to apologize Councilmember Scrivener for misspelling her last name in the financial report. It is now corrected and uploaded. Corrected version is uploaded in our website. The city's financial transactions for the fiscal year 2019-20 have been audited, and the financial reports are now and completed. The reports included in this agenda are comprehensive annual financial report, also so-called CAFR, independent auditor's report on internal control and compliance, reports on the city's appropriations limits, and statements of audit standards 114 communication letter. Continued from the last 2 years, the city submitted 2019-20 CAFR to Government Finance Officers Association for Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting Award. As of now, right now, our auditor, Brett Van Lent, is on the line, and he will present a quick overview of the audit and financial reports. Brett, you there?
Yes. Good evening. My name is Brett Van Lent. I'm one of the partners with Van Lent and Fankennel. We conducted the audit for the city of Tehachapi for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2020. I have a short presentation. Hopefully you guys have access to it. We'll start off on the second slide regarding the audit process. So the audit process is kind of broken up into 2 different parts. We have the preliminary audit field work. During this time, this is where we assess the risk that the financial statements could be materially misstated due to fraud or error. The purpose of this is to gain an understanding of the internal controls that are responsible for the financial reporting of the city. And so in doing this, we are evaluating the various processes that have to do with the financial structure, including cash receipts, cash disbursements, the purchasing or procurement process, payroll processes, and other significant accounting processes that are significant to the audit. While doing this, we're actually reviewing specific transactions, including accounts payable, cash receipts, different things like that, business licenses. We're also observing the activity at City Hall. We also inquire with the city staff while we're there, or even over the phone or through email about how different processes work, all in order to get an understanding of the risk that are associated with the financial reporting of the city's financial statements. And so that's a kind of a preliminary process. We call that the interim field work. If we move on to the next slide, slide 3, this is, we're talking about the year-end audit field work. This is kind of the second part to the audit where we're actually testing and auditing the balances that make up the financial reporting of the city's financial statements. And so in doing this, we are evaluating the various processes that have to do with the financial structure, including cash receipts, cash disbursements, the amounts in the financial statements and the note disclosures. And the procedures that we do for this testing involves our judgment, and that judgment comes from the risk assessment process. So as we identify areas that might need a little bit more testing, that risk assessment process would determine the extent of the testing that we actually do. Some of the examples of the procedures that we do: confirmation of account balances with banks, confirmation of payments received received by the city from the state or the county of Kern. We're testing specific transactions and also doing analytical procedures on those amounts that are actually reported in the financial statements. Moving on to the next slide. Hannah kind of described some of the reports that were issued as part of our audit. The audit report, which is the opinion on the financial statements. There's also the report on internal control and compliance, report on the city's appropriations limit, and the SAS 114. This is a required communication with the city council. Moving on to the next slide. Slide 5, this is describing our audit report. Basically, it's indicating that the financial statements are the responsibility of management. Our responsibility as auditors is to express an opinion based off of our audit procedures that we perform. Our opinion is providing reasonable assurance, meaning it's not absolute assurance. Moving on to the next slide. Our audit opinion on the city's financial statements was an unmodified, which is a clean opinion, meaning we did not identify any material departures from generally accepted accounting principles, and they are materially stated accurately in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The audit report also goes on to describe our responsibility over the required supplementary information, other supplementary information, and those are the different aspects of our audit report covering the financial statements. Just some key figures in the financial statements. The city's net pension liability was about $4.8 million as of the end of the 2020 fiscal year. The general fund balance increased approximately $760,000 compared to the prior year. The unrestricted fund balance in the general fund is approximately 104% of the 2019-20 expenditures, giving you roughly a 12 months reserve. GFOA, which is the Government Finance Officers Association, their best practices recommends a minimum of 2 months operating reserve, so you can kind of see how you stack up to the minimum best practices that GFOA gives out. Next slide, slide 8, is the report on internal control and compliance. Again, this is just describing what that report is. As part of our audit, we have to consider the internal controls over financial reporting. If we identify significant deficiencies or material weaknesses or material non-compliance that could impact the city's financial statements, we would be required to report that to the city council. We did not identify any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in financial reporting, so that letter or report is a standard report. There was no modifications. Again, the report on the city's appropriations limit. This is an agreed upon procedures that we do to actually recalculate the city's calculation to make sure that it was done correctly. The GAN limit or the spending limit is required by the California Constitution to be calculated by the city, and currently the limit is significantly higher than the proceeds that are related to those amounts. Also, the SAS 114 report. This is a required communication with City Council. Sorry, this is the next slide. This is a required communication. It describes different aspects of the financial statements, sensitive disclosures that are in the financial statements, including the disclosure regarding the calculation of the city's net pension liability. Basically just drawing your attention that these amounts are based on estimates and that they could be subject to significant differences if the activity doesn't play out how the actuaries describe. So if we had any difficulties or disagreements with management, that would be reported there as well, and any other audit findings. This letter is also a very standard letter. We didn't have any difficulties. It was a pretty smooth audit considering I believe we did our interim field work remotely, and we were able to actually come to the city on site for the year-end field work. The remote field work during interim, obviously due to social distancing for COVID. But I'd like to thank city staff, Hannah and her finance team for all the support and assistance that they gave us throughout the audit. And if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them now.
Thank you for your presentation. And Hannah, do you have anything else to add?
Oh, no, unless you have any questions.
Okay, were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
And does the City Council have comments via roll call, please?
Councilmember Pokencourt?
None, thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Just thank you to the team for really a thoughtful job on the work that was reviewed. And Hannah, my own mother, spells my name wrong sometimes, so not to worry. Glad we got it right.
Thank you.
Councilmember Wiggins?
No, I never worry about this because we have such a great team led by Hannah that I know it's always going to be a good report. So thanks for making us look good, Hannah.
Thank you, Susan.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
No, I just want to thank everybody as well, knowing, what my wife does for a living and understanding this a lot helps me out to understand how everybody's talking about debits and credits and everything. But I really appreciate everybody's work. Hannah and her team and everything that does a great job for the city of Tehachapi. Appreciate it, and I'm fine with everything else. Thank you.
Mayor Smith?
I will just ditto on top of what all the other comments were. Great job from our award-winning finance team. So thank you all, and I thank the auditor for a very good presentation and for all the work that you do with the city. Thank you all. So this item was for information. So if we don't have any other comments, we will move on to item number 9.
I would like to, before we move on, I would like to thank to Brett and his team for helping us getting award, and they're a great help in many different ways. Thank you, and thank you to all council members for your support.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Brett. All right.
Thank you.
So we'll now go on to item 9, public hearing regarding unmet transit needs within the city. I will now open the hearing. Was the public hearing noticed, and were there any correspondence received?
The notice was posted and published in the Tehachapi News on January 13th, and no correspondence was received.
Thank you, Ashley. Our Director of Finance, Hannah Chung, will now give the report. Hannah?
Yes. As part of the annual public transit claim for Transportation Development Act, also known as TDA funds, it is necessary to conduct a public hearing to receive public's input concerning the transit needs within the city. The City of Tehachapi provides dial-a-ride service through Kern Regional Transit. As of now, we utilize 2 buses, and the current transit service operates Monday through Saturday. The dial-ride services are available within the city limits of Tehachapi as well as between the city and certain areas of the county, mostly Golden Hills area. The current one-way fares are $2 for general public and $1 for disabled, and children for age of 4 and under are free. Seniors, we charge $1, and youth is $1, this is very, very, low-priced ride. When comparing the fiscal year 2019-20 operations to fiscal year 2018-19, the ridership decreased to 23%, whereas the total cost decreased was 5%. The total cost does not fluctuate based on the volume of ridership because of certain the basic costs such as personnel, vehicle maintenance, and depreciation costs remain constant regardless of ridership. The ridership was significantly impacted by COVID-19 pandemic during the fiscal year. The detailed statistical reports are included in the as a part of the agenda. The TDA requires the city to meet 10% fare box ratio. City has not met these requirements since, I don't even remember how long, ever. I mean, I worked for the city over 20 years and we have never met. So, however, starting 2000, few years ago, city had to meet 10%, otherwise we were jeopardizing TDA funds. So as of starting 3 years ago, general fund started to subsidize. And so 2019 and 20, the general fund subsidized $20,787 to meet the 10%. The cost of ridership was $59.47, which is extremely expensive. And that was like $11.70 increase from the prior year. In continuing attempts to improve the fare box ratio, city has worked diligently in the past to promote the transit service and inform residents about the Tehachapi dial-a-ride by communicating through ads, advertisement in the loop. The city's Talk It Up newsletter, on screen at the theater, and this year, however, we were not able to do a lot of those advertisements due to COVID. However, during 2019-20, we still did advertising, in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Nextdoor, and also through Waterbill. And the transit service information is also posted on the city's website. The city is required to adopt a resolution annually providing that there are no areas within the city with unmet public transit needs which could be reasonably met by expansion of the existing system or establishment of a new system in order to receive Article 4 and Article 8 funds. This resolution also authorizes the city manager to execute and file claims for TDA apportionment and allocations for fiscal year 2021-22. The public hearing notice was published in the Tehachapi News on January 13th, 2021. The TDA amount for next year is not available. However, we received $673,055 in fiscal year 2020-21. Staff recommends council adopt the resolution finding that there are no unmet transit needs that are reasonably to meet within the city. If there is any question, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Hannah. Were there any public comments? Or
There were
Ashley,
0
I guess
comments
you're.
by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. The public hearing is now closed. Our city clerk will now ask the council member via roll call for comments.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
I'm just delighted that they still are running the bus service or transit service. I have a question on the scheduling, and I don't know if Hannah can answer this for me, but does the bus come between the hours of, let's say, 12:45 to 4 p.m., or are those the times that they arrive at the bus station?
Oh, those are, yes, I believe so. Mm-hmm. So it's a curb-to-curb service. So this is, you have to, if anybody need a ride, they have to call the day before, preferably 24 hours before that dispatch service. And then if they have that spot available, they will come to the curb side of your, wherever that you need to be picked up.
Okay. So this is not the downtown bus stop by the park and ride?
No. We do not have a fixed route.
Ah, I see. I thought that you did. Thank you. I appreciate that.
This is like a taxi service, but very limited.
Okay, well, thank you. I was assuming it was the bus. So anyway, thanks for the clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Joan, I think you're thinking of the regional transit, which offers bus service to Bakersfield and other areas.
Right, that's exactly what I was thinking of. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, that's okay. That is run by the county.
Okay, so Dial-A-Ride. Okay, I've got it straight in my head now. Thank you.
Sure.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Done for me, thank you.
Councilmember Wiggins?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
No.
Mayor Smith?
No comments. Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion to adopt a resolution finding that there are no unmet transit needs that are reasonable to meet within the city?
I'll make that motion as presented, Mayor Smith.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Scrivener, second by Councilmember Pogencourt. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
It was a 5-0 vote to adopt a resolution finding that there are no unmet transit needs that are reasonable to meet within the city.
Thank you. Item number 10, Beautification Awards Program. Our Community Engagement Specialist, Key Budge, will now give the report. Key?
Good evening, Mayor Smith and Council. I'm Key Budge, your Community Engagement Specialist. Tonight, I want to talk to you about the Beautification Awards Program that we're proposing. In November of 2020, the City of Tehachapi created the Holiday Decorating Contest for city residents, encouraging people to be creative and help provide positive cheer in what was a trying 2020. Response was incredibly positive. It grew very, very quickly to the point where other entities that came on board and allowed the program to grow to the entire greater Tehachapi area. We had more than 100 homes, apartments, and businesses participate in the contest. And there was many, many more that decorated, but we had more than 100 that just wanted to be a part of the contest. Based on that positive outcome from that Holiday Lights contest, we explored how we could continue to create positive community participation programs here in the city of Tehachapi. So currently, we have an Adopt a Flag program that's been ongoing, Adopt a Decoration, Adopt a Pole program, Adopt a Landscape. The police department's held multiple neighborhood improvement project cleanup days. The city's also supported the community volunteer group Love Tehachapi with multiple cleanup days over the past couple of years. And we will be participating in 2 Earth Day cleanup events in April. So we felt an acknowledgement or award program for homeowners, businesses that keep their properties in a beautiful state or have made noticeable improvements to their properties should be acknowledged through a positive community program. Properties receiving the award would be acknowledged at a city council meeting, social media, and would receive a lawn or yard plaque similar to the ones we provide in the Adopt a Landscape program. The beautification program would allow the community to nominate a neighbor or even themselves, and we would utilize the city's website request tracker program to help facilitate that, where they could include a photograph. The fiscal impact would be $1,000, which we would use for awards, promotional materials, and any type of advertising. So our recommendation would be that the council approve the Beautification Awards program with an annual budget of $1,000, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Key. Were there any public comments?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Any council comments by roll call?
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Key, is $1,000 going to be enough for awards and promotional advertising and signs? That seems like not enough from experience here.
Well, it's with our advertising, the nice thing is we have such a robust social media that we spend very little on advertising now for programs. As we did with the Christmas decorating contest, we did not spend a penny on advertising. We were able to utilize our in-house social media to promote the event, also supplement that by media press releases and getting the word shared just virally throughout the community. So we think this is enough, but you know, I since you said through your experience, I'd definitely be open to listening to what your suggestion might be.
I was just thinking on the cost of advertising and whatnot from my campaign and stuff. It's quite costly for yard signs and so on and so forth. And I thought, I don't think that's going to be enough. So that's just from my experience.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Thanks, Ashley. Key, I agree with you. I think they're going to get a lot of earned media on this because people will be excited to share it. I think I understand this correctly. The $1,000 is not for any sort of prize or award. It's just to manage the costs associated with the plaques you mentioned and any other ancillary costs. Is that correct?
Correct. The plaques would be the awards based on nominations. So
there's no monetary, we're not giving money to folks that win as a prize.
Correct.
Thank you.
Councilmember Wiggins?
I thought that would include monetary awards. Thank you.
Councilmember Wiggins?
This is wonderful. We're going to encourage people to take care of what they own and be prideful and want others to see it and get some recognition. It will improve the whole town. I'm just so excited about this. I think it's a great thing. Thank you, Key.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
No, I think it's a great thing. It'd be nice to see the little plaques or whatever, the awards that they can put in their yards, so people drive around town, they can see it. And because I know there's a lot of people in town do a great job on beautifying their property and doing a real good job of, helping the neighborhoods. And I think it's a great idea, and I think it'd be awesome that we recognize these people, with our media programs and Facebook and social media. I think that would be a positive for everybody. So I'm okay.
Mayor Smith?
I echo all these comments. I think it's a wonderful program, Key. And wouldn't it be fun if it just grows to where we need an extra 1,000 or something for more signs, and everybody gets to keep their sign, I assume, Key. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Mayor Smith.
So let's make it where everybody wants a sign in their yard and to make their neighborhood beautiful. And I think it's a really good program. So if you need more money, come to us again, and we'll make that happen. So do we need a motion here? Let's see here. Do we have a motion to approve the Beautification Awards program with an annual budget for now of $1,000?
So move.
I'd like to make that motion that we approve the beautification program with a budget of $1,000.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Wiggins, second by Councilmember Davies, Mayor Pro Tem Davies. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pokencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
It was a 5-0 vote to approve the Beautification Awards program with an annual budget of $1,000.
Thank you. Item number 12, Kern County Illegal Dumping Cleanup Programs. Our assistant to the city manager, Corey Costello, will now give the report. Corey?
Thank you, Mary Smith and council members. Tonight, the first item I have for you is a proposal to expand illegal dumping cleanup resources within the county of Kern. The Kern County Public Works Department, they're proposing to expand illegal dumping cleanup programs throughout the county by seeking funds via an increase in the land use fee for every resident in the county, along with those inside incorporated cities. This land use fee is applied to all residential properties. It's on your property tax bill, and it covers costs associated with handling and disposal of solid waste. The county of Kern has determined the land use fee as a possible solution to the lack of funding for the illegal dumping program. As a result of this application to all properties, the county of Kern is requesting that incorporated cities support their efforts to raise this annual fee via the Proposition 218 process. So the proposal, and the cities participated in the tentative proposal presented by the county of Kern. I was on a conference call back in January, gave some feedback in terms of this proposal. That plan then was modified and presented to the Board of Supervisors on January 26th and met with an overall positive response. You can see in some of the attached materials that were provided by the county of Kern the negative impacts of illegal dumping countywide, as well as the plans for the potential increase, which would essentially go towards more crews for increased enforcement, education, and cleanup to attack the problem. Some of the issues that they're facing include the types of waste being illegally dumped isn't just as simple as throwing in the back of a pickup truck. It's hazardous waste, sometimes even bio waste that has to be treated differently, and so that creates a problem for some of the crews they do have. So this proposal will expand the crews to clean up those illegal dumping sites. Also, the land use fee has not been increased in the county since 2012. Currently sits at $82.89 per home and $66.30 per apartment unit assessed annually. This proposal provided by the county is a $22.11 increase for single-family homes, taking the fee to $105 evenly a year, and a $17.70 increase for apartment units, increasing the fee to $84 a year per unit. Along with the county-wide program, there's an additional allocation as part of this that's going to be provided to each incorporated city, portioning out the increased fee based on maintained road mileage, because most of the illegal dumping is happening along roadsides, at least in the county. According to the county of Kern, and in the attached documents, the city of Tehachapi is responsible for maintaining 51 miles of streets and roads. It equates to just less than 1% of all the roads in the county. So as a result of this math and this formula, the city of Tehachapi, should this increase be passed, would receive an additional $57,265 a year from the land use fee increase. The question was brought up about the use of these funds, considering in the city we don't have, it's not like some of the rural roads in the unincorporated county. They're impacted a little more heavily by illegal dumping of large bulky items. And so we were asked about how we could use these funds as it pertains to refuse or litter mitigation. And basically these funds can be used for any types of those activities, whether it's just litter cleanup, or it happens to be maybe it's a code enforcement, or maybe it is picking up illegal dumping. So it also allows us to potentially, we've had some preliminary discussions with our public works team about potentially hiring more part-time labor to help with litter cleanup in some of the more traveled areas of our city. So there is use of this funds, although we don't have a giant illegal dumping problem in the city limits per se. There is use of this money for both city staff to be able to clean up just more generic litter and trash, and then overall just beautification of the county, because we've all probably driven through the areas that are suffering from illegal dumping. So the Board of Supervisors through the Kern County Public Works Department has asked for the city's support in this effort to undergo the Proposition 218 protest ballot process to potentially raise this land use fee. And so my recommendation tonight is to direct staff to draft a letter to the County Board of Supervisors supporting the Kern County Public Works Department's proposal to expand illegal dumping cleanup resources by seeking funding through a land use fee increase subject to a Proposition 218 protest vote, and authorize the mayor to sign. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them at this time.
Thank you, Corey. Any public comment on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
And we'll take a roll call for council comments.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes, I'm glad to see this proposition going up and hope it passes. I've had several people in the past come up to me and say how littered the streets are. Why can't the city do anything? And actually, most of it was in the county. So it's good that they're in cooperation with each other to get this done. I hope it goes through. Thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
No.
Councilmember Wiggins?
This is a great idea, and I hope that some of the funds go to help with a complaint system. I get complaints from people all the time that they call, the county, different people, who are supposed to work on cleanup and code enforcement, whatever, and they never get a call back. So this is a great idea, but they need to work on that little problem.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
I have no comments.
Mayor Smith?
Yes, can this money be used, I assume, for when we have our neighborhood cleanups, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go to community cleanup events and that type of stuff. And we've been fortunate in the past when we've had our neighborhood improvement plan. Our friends at Waste Management have been able to either donate the roll-off bins and even helping us with the gate fees per se. So this will actually allow us to even maybe do more and pay for those gate fees when we go to dump, whether it's bulky item collection and that type of stuff. So it will help us. We can certainly use that, and it'll help us in a variety of areas, from whether it's equipment and manpower to even just the gate fees at the landfill for those community cleanup days that we host.
Thank you. So, and a focus on our highway ramps. I know that's Caltrans sort of, but it's within our city limits if we can, if we have to use that. I know at Kern Cog we do have a crew by request that goes through the county, and they will clean up areas along highway right-of-ways. So but we have 202 coming through town, and like I say, the off and on ramps that get a lot of litter. If we could utilize that or partner with them for those funds. So just to keep that in mind, that's all I had. But I think it's a good program, worthwhile to, for an extra $20 a year. So do I have a motion?
Mayor Smith, make that motion that we direct staff to draft a letter to Kern County Public Board of Supervisors supporting the Kern County Public Works Department's proposal to expand illegal dumping cleanup resources by seeking funding through a land use fee increase subject to Proposition 218 protest vote, and authorize the mayor to sign.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Davies. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Bill.
All right, thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins? Councilmember Wiggins? We're going to check real quick to make sure Councilmember Wiggins is still on the line. All right, we'll move on and then come back to her. Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes. We can
All right,
wait
we'll
a
give
minute.
Yeah, we'll give it a moment here and until she can get back, log back in.
Are we still there?
We're still here. We still don't see Councilmember Wiggins on the line. Would you like to continue to wait?
Yeah, we can
Mayor?
move on with the council agenda, and we'll hold this vote for her vote at that time, all right, when she gets back on,
Okay, sounds good.
if that's all right. So we'll move on to item 13, Small Business Loyalty Program. Our Economic Development Coordinator, Corey Costello, and I'll give that report as well. Corey?
Thank you, Mayor Smith and council members. Second item tonight is our Small Business Loyalty Program. The city of Tehachapi continues to explore ways to support small businesses because of the challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic and resulting regulations for a lot of them. So in keeping with discovering new and engaging ways to support those businesses, like our utility payment deferral program, which the council approved nearly a year ago, we prepared the Small Business Loyalty Program for your consideration this evening. The city of Tehachapi is going to assist in sort of stimulating the economy of our local business owners by offering the following program. So we're asking customers and who purchase over $100 of goods or services at any small business within the city of Tehachapi to take those receipts, and it can be from a multitude of businesses. Say they went and bought something at a downtown shop, and then they went and got a haircut or salon services. You can actually bring those in as well. And if they total $100 or more, you bring them to City Hall from March 1st through March 30th. And those qualifying purchases can come from only independently owned small businesses, and they exclude alcohol and tobacco purchases. And again, those purchases are limited to businesses within the city limits. And so if they bring those receipts in, they'll receive a $20 gift card from the city of Tehachapi that's redeemable at a variety of local restaurants and potentially specialty shops. And this will be there'll be a multitude of options for participants to choose from. And our plan is to take an allocation of funds and go purchase that $1,000 worth of gift cards immediately. That way, first of all, the small restaurants that we choose already have that money in pocket, and there's really nothing else for them to do other than issue the gift cards and then obviously honor them when the customers come back. And then we'll allow the customers to receive really a large portion of their purchases sort of rebated in the form of a gift card. And by doing so in gift card form or gift certificate form, this encourages return visits to small businesses and restaurants for redemption where additional purchases could be made. I know I saw a 2020 study by Magento that said that gift card users showed that 59% of those surveyed spent over the value of the gift card at redemption. So the hope is you get $20 to a local restaurant, you take, maybe you're getting food for the family, and you end up spending $40, obviously, so the restaurant has received, the money before, and then also getting money on a return visit. So it's just an opportunity to allow customers to show their loyalty to small businesses within the city. We do have some rules and regulations that we're drafting and have drafted some of them as well. And those include the qualifying purchases. It needs to be a small business, can't be a large corporate entity. It can't be like we said, alcohol, tobacco. We'll exclude those. But we're looking for personal services, hair, nails, salons, or goods and services from qualifying small businesses. And gasoline purchases, of course, are excluded as well. So we also kind of have the caveat in there, to make sure we're any purchases that are kind of deemed to violate the spirit of the program won't be accepted as well. But we believe that folks kind of know who's an independent small business and who isn't. So we're hoping that folks will see that and not only shop at our local shops, but then return with visits to local restaurants via gift cards. We had a great, it's in your packet, but we had a wonderful logo designed for this program, which is by Palma Graphics, which is a beautiful, it captures some businesses in Tehachapi, sort of the facades of some well-known businesses in our community. And so it just really screams Tehachapi. It's a great look. So we're really excited about this program and what we can do to sort of just generate some buzz and some conversation for our small businesses, maybe help a few of them out, especially this time of year. The winter in Tehachapi can get challenging for restaurants on a regular year, minus COVID, so we're hoping this will help them a little bit get through this tough winter time. So the recommendation tonight is to approve the Small Business Loyalty Program, an initial allocation of $1,000 with an additional $1,000 allocation if the program is a success. So happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Corey. Was there any public comment on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. We'll ask for council comments via roll call.
Councilmember Pokenford?
Yes, Corey, when you were going through this, I thought, I said I could just see people coming and getting 1 million of them at one time, but I see there's a limit of 1 gift card per person per week. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to keep a track and a log as well at the front counter at City Hall. So when somebody comes in, we'll get their name and all that stuff to basically, sort of keep track of who's coming in on a regular basis. I mean, hopefully they come in once a week because that just means there's more money and they're helping more small businesses. But yeah, we're going to try to keep some restrictions on the amount of time that folks can come in and get gift cards.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that.
Councilmember Scrivener?
None for me, thanks.
Councilmember Wiggins?
And another great idea. This is awesome. I love it. We're getting people to shop in town, eat in town, helps them, helps businesses. It's just a win-win situation.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
No, I agree with all the other council members. This is a great idea to keep our money in Tehachapi, and I think it's a great idea, and I'm all for it.
Mayor Smith?
I'm all for it as well. A little housekeeping. Can we get Mayor Wiggins, our Councilmember Wiggins' vote for the last item? We lost him in it there,
yes,
Susan.
I'm sorry. My phone just went dead.
I figured.
And I would vote yes on that.
All right. You can report that out on that item, Ashley.
Sure thing. So going back to item number 12, it is a 5-0 vote to direct staff to draft a letter to the Kern County Board of Supervisors supporting the Kern County Public Works Department's proposal to expand illegal dumping cleanup resources by seeking funding through a land use fee increase subject to Proposition 218 protest vote, and authorize the mayor to sign.
Thank you. All right, on this current item, I'll now ask for a motion to approve the Small Business Loyalty Program with an initial allocation of $1,000 for, with an additional $1,000 allocation if the program is a success. Do I have a motion?
I so moved.
I'll make that motion, Mayor Smith.
Thank you. We had a motion by Councilmember Pogencourt, a second by Councilmember Scrivener. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
It is a 5-0 vote to approve the Small Business Loyalty Program with an initial allocation of $1,000 and with an additional $1,000 allocation if the program is a success.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item 14, Trade Area Study and Online Dashboard. Our Economic Development Coordinator, Corey Costello, will now give that report. Corey?
Thank you again, Mayor Smith. And a quick one tonight, just an information-only report. I wanted to update the council. About a month ago, you had authorized the city to contract with E-Impact, a Portland-based, Oregon-based economic development analysis firm, to update the trade area demographics that are served by businesses in the city of Tehachapi. And in addition to not only the study, but E-Impact actually provided that data in the form of an online dashboard that we've embedded into the city's website. I would like to express to council our satisfaction with the work completed. The analysis really shows our businesses are serving a population well over 75,000 residents. So that includes folks in the communities of California City, Mojave, down into Arvin. The analysis was generated with several surrounding zip codes, and it found some of the following standouts. Retail sales really indicate that we support a large trade area with our food and beverage, i.e. grocery stores, with over $32 million in sales. General merchandise such as Walmart and Tractor Supply are generating over $30 million in retail sales, and then home improvement, garden and building materials account for over $25 million. And restaurants do very well. This is that sort of impact of being now a shopping destination for some of the communities outside of the city and in Eastern Kern. When you come up to Tehachapi to shop, just like when we used to go to Bakersfield or Lancaster to shop, we would have lunch or dinner while we're down there. And now we're seeing those people have lunch or dinner in our community as well. So it's been $23 million in sales annually for those restaurants in our community. So it's very strong indicators. The numbers were kind of pointed to a term E-Impact used. They said we're punching above our weight in terms of sales volume. So we really believe it's true, and this data proves that we're a retail hub of Eastern Kern County and some of the smaller communities to our west as well. Retail leakage is down compared to our last study, so still plenty of opportunities for new businesses to fill some of those gaps, which indicate money being spent elsewhere, but that those funds are down. And the online dashboard is very easy to use. If you haven't seen it on our website, if you go to the city's website, you can either click onto the business section, and under resources, there's the demographics and economic opportunity page, and it'll take you to the online dashboard. Gives you traffic counts on very key intersections, including Mill Street and 58, and also Tehachapi Boulevard and Tucker, which is the main, the entrance to our main commercial corridor on that Walmart corner, so to speak. And those numbers have increased significantly over the last 6 or 7 years, the last time we did this study. So the population trends are there. There's also job sectors, which, remember, we ran these numbers with a lot of other communities. So if you say, well, there's a lot of this agricultural, forestry, fishing, and hunting is a weird stat. Why do we have so many agriculture workers? Remember, we did include some of the communities to our west, including Arvin, which has a very high population of agricultural workers. So that get thrown into the study as well. So that kind of changed who we were in terms of who works where. But still very strong employment numbers, a very diverse workforce, which we've always known about Tehachapi. It continues to be the story, and so forth. So I encourage folks to check it out. This is a good tool for business owners that want to know their customer, and also those seeking to invest in our community They can go to the website, pull a lot of their own information, share it with their investors or potential partners, and not necessarily always rely on the city to get them that information. So very excited about this and happy with the way it turned out, and just wanted to let the council know that this is out there and available. So if you hear from potential business owners or those that are owning a business and they have questions about who we are and who shops in Tehachapi, you can point them to our website for those answers. If you have any questions this time, I'd be happy to take them.
Thank you very much, Corey. Any public comment on this?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
And council comments via roll call.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Corey, is that on our website for Live Up Tehachapi, or is it a different website?
No, it's on our website at Live Up Tehachapi. So if you go to that, the easiest way to get to it, actually right now it's on the front page in the news section because we had a press release about it. But under the business tab, under resources, it's there, demographics and economic opportunity. Or if you go into the government section under economic development, it's on that page as well. So it's in a couple spots to get to it. And like I said, right now it's currently sort of featured on the front page in our news section.
Okay, thank you. I was just curious. Thanks.
Councilmember Scrivener?
None for me, thanks.
Councilmember Wiggins?
No, none.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Nothing from me.
Mayor Smith?
Yes, thank you for all this information and the work you put into this. I did listen to a podcast, I think it was, you had with, was that a TV station or a radio station, Corey?
Yeah, that was the MoneyWise radio program in Bakersfield and their podcast, correct.
Yes, and very informative. It's amazing how, you know, our little town, we used to always, growing up here, thinking that the elevation was 4,000 and the town was about 4,000 population. And now we have an area that covers 75,000 residents surrounding from Arvin to Cal City that we draw on. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about it, given my history in this community, and you can certainly appreciate as well. I mean, I remember when we used to go to Mojave for things like shopping and restaurants, and now that script has been completely flipped, and Mojave comes here because that's where the shopping and the restaurants are now at. So it's a good sort of comment to how far this community has come and what we provide for not just our city, but the Tehachapi area and Eastern Kern County.
Well, great job. It's appreciated. So let's see. That was an information item, correct?
Correct.
All right. So thank you very much, Corey. Item 15, Rail Corridor Safety Improvement Project. Development Services Director Jay Schlosser will now give the report. Jay?
Excellent. Thank you, council members. And Mayor, the one item I have for you tonight is a request to increase the change order limit on the ATP Rail Corridor Pedestrian Safety Project. So briefly, we've awarded this approximately $2 million project to DoD Construction. Much of the funds associated with this project were also going to reimburse Union Pacific for the improvements they made relating to the rail line itself. Originally, we bid the project with both a base bid and an additive bid Schedule 1. And the primary items in additive bid Schedule 1 were additional paving on H Street east of Hayes to the road's end there, I think at the Trails End RV Park is named that. Anyway, and we did that because at the time we didn't believe we had the funds sufficient to do the additive bid schedule. And that was based upon the belief that the cost to the Union Pacific was going to be up over $750,000. So we've gotten well into the project. We did have about a 2-month period of slowdown of work due to the contractor having COVID-related issues as well as weather-related issues, but the project is still progressing and nearing completion. And with the railroad work done, we have had the positive benefit of finding out that their total cost was around $555,000. So a significant decrease in the expected cost. That actually leaves us with some additional funds to be applied to this project. And so we would like the council to reconsider the added bid schedule. We have confirmed with Caltrans that we can re-add that to the project and execute it. And as a reminder, these are either grant funds or leftover RDA funds that can only be used for a select handful of projects. None of the funds associated with this are general fund money. So the total budget for the additional work is just under $200,000, and there is a required match associated from the Streets and Roads Fund, which was again included in the mid-year budget adjustment. So the initial construction contract approved in October of 2017. Is that correct? I think that might be 2019. Totaled $1.3 million. Anyways, the summary action is still the same, which is we're not asking you to distinctly approve the additional work, but instead to grant staff the ability to increase the amount of change order budget that we have to $275,825. That number was selected as maximizing the available funds that we have for this project without dipping into the general fund. So that is my recommendation tonight, is that you authorize the city manager to approve necessary change orders up to the amount of $275,825 on the rail corridor pedestrian safety improvement project. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jay. Were there any public comments on this item?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. Council comments via roll call, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Thanks, Jay. I was just wondering where we were going to get the extra money, and you explained that very simply. I think it comes out of the Street and Roads Fund rather than the general fund. Thank you.
Councilmember Scrivener?
None for me.
Councilmember Wiggins?
No, none.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Nothing for me.
Mayor Smith?
Just makes me smile when I see the word grant. So thank you, Jay.
Yeah,
All right. So I will now ask for a motion to authorize city manager to approve necessary change orders up to the amount of $275,825 on the rail corridor pedestrian safety improvement project. Do I have a motion?
I so move. Nobody goes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Councilmember Pogencourt, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Davies. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
Yes.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
It is a 5-0 vote to authorize the city manager to approve necessary change orders up to the amount of $275,825 on the rail corridor pedestrian safety improvement project.
Thank you. Item number 16, Tehachapi Loop Spectator Overlook Project. Our assistant to the city manager, Corey Costello, will now give the report. Corey?
Thank you, Mayor Smith and council members. One final item tonight regarding the Tehachapi Loop Spectator Overlook Project. The city staff was recently approached by a subcommittee of Friends of the Tehachapi Depot regarding support for their Tehachapi Loop Spectator Overlook Project. This has been going on for quite some time, along with the assistance of the County of Kern, to sort of get this loop viewing platform at the Tehachapi Loop a reality. It's a historical landmark, both a California historical landmark and National Historic Civil Engineering landmark. The area is marked with concrete monuments, but if you've been down there, you know that it lacks a safe area to view the Tehachapi Loop, and it's been a problem with tour buses in recent years trying to park, and people walking right there at Woodford to Tehachapi Road. It's just right off the shoulder. So FOTD, in conjunction with the County of Kern and other community volunteers, have united to build a safe viewing overlook for visitors locally and worldwide. So the city, of course, has successfully partnered with FOTD in the past with the restoration of the Tehachapi Train Depot, and we believe this is also a project worthy of our support. This is a sort of early fundraising efforts of this project. There will be a larger sort of community-wide fundraising effort once some major donors are secured by the folks handling this fundraising effort. And so we've been approached to become one of the major donors by contributing $10,000 to the construction of the Tehachapi Loop Spectator Overlook. There is a couple renderings in your packet, and I will share one on the screen as well. There's been land donated by the Loop Ranch, fill dirt as well from the folks there that have the property adjacent that will actually go into their property. They've been supportive. The County of Kern has provided some engineering and the renderings of this loop platform as well. So we're excited about this project, and of course, Friends of the Depot, being based in downtown Tehachapi, operating the Rail Depot Museum. They have a sign at the loop encouraging folks to come visit the museum under normal circumstances. So we believe this will be a worthy project and worthy of our support. So we'd like to, the recommendation tonight is to direct staff to become a major donor and contribute $10,000 in support of the Tehachapi Loop Spectator Overlook project. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Corey. Do we have any public comments on this?
There were 0 comments received by email and 0 by voicemail.
Thank you. Council comments by roll call, please.
Councilmember Pogencourt?
So I need to recuse myself as I'm event coordinator for the depot. So I think that's in the best interest at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Scrivener?
I just am really excited about this project. I know when I moved up here 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago now, I had 2 boys that were crazy about trains, and just how I was so tickled that we could live in a town that celebrated trains and the Tehachapi Loop, and just think this is an exciting project for our region. While it's not in the city, I do think that the city benefits quite a bit from the tourism that this generates, and in the long term, I think that potentially this could be something we're just really proud that we had a hand in supporting. So I'm excited about this project.
Councilmember Wiggins?
I don't want to be the devil's advocate. I just want to make sure we're getting closer to donations season, and $10,000 is a lot. And I would ask you, Corey, we have all this budgeted?
It'll be shown in the mid-year budget adjustment. They'll come before you here in the next few weeks or a month or so. So yeah, we have the money. It's just a matter of obviously allocating it
all right.
To our budget.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
No, I think it's a great idea. I've been involved, but not involved, but I've been to the Loop Ranch before delivering fuel with my job, and I've been on the loop on the ranch when the train goes by. It's kind of amazing what technology they designed back in the day. So I think it'd be a great idea to be able to support them and support our volunteers at the depot and everything that they do for us. I think I'd like to see it become a major donor.
Mayor Smith?
I agree with everybody. It's a wonderful project, and the amount of money that we invest, I'm sure we will get back, like Councilmember Scrivener said, Christina said, with the money we get from tourism on this, people will come from all over the world because it is a world-renowned engineering feat accomplished back in the time. And so I'm all in favor of this as well. I just remember living in Keene and we would walk up to the loop, and the railroad guys had tied a 55-gallon drum on a rope between two trees, and they called it the bucking bronco, and you try to get on there while the other kids would shake you off. So good memories here, and I think it's really neat that we're able to provide an area where people can pull over safely and be able to take it in. It's right there, and it's in our blood. So I wholeheartedly support this as well. So I'll now ask for a motion to direct staff to become a major donor and contribute $10,000 in support of the Tehachapi Loop Spectator Overlook Project. Do I have a motion?
Mayor Smith, I would like to make that motion. Michael Davies.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Davies, a second by Councilmember Scrivener. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Scrivener?
Yes.
Councilmember Wiggins?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davies?
Yes.
Mayor Smith?
Yes.
It is a 4-0 vote to direct staff to become a major donor and contribute $10,000 in support of the Tehachapi Loop Spectator Overlook Project, with a recusal from Councilmember Pokencord.
Thank you very much, all. All right, council member reports. Councilmember Pokencord, anything to report tonight?
Just that I'm so very proud of Hannah and her team for their report. That's way over my head, and I really appreciate their time and efforts. And also, to the people who keep doing reconstruction and beautifying our town on D, E, and F streets and Maple, I see tons of improvements, and it does a great, it benefits our town tremendously. And it does my heart well to see that. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you.
Christina, Councilmember Scrivener?
None for me. Thank you, Mayor.
Susan?
No, I don't have anything tonight. Thank you.
And Mayor Pro Tem Davies. Michael?
Nothing from me, sir.
And I don't have anything else. I would just echo what Joan said about the finance department and about the houses that are being renovated around town. It's really pretty neat, I'll tell you, to see some rundown places looking really sharp. It just shows that people are interested in the downtown area. So I think that's great.
Exactly.
All right, with that, we will now adjourn to closed session. And for information regarding the outcome of closed session items, please contact